Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for the evening live today. And today we are going to talk about something which is very, very new. But before that, warm welcome once again. And let me just, I hope I'm clear, I'm audible and visible to all of you who have joined. If you could just type yes or something in the chat box, that gives me a clarity. Okay. So, today's topic of discussion, or what I'm going to talk about, is a topic which is very, very newly introduced, and that's called as the IELTS One Skill Retake. So, a lot of students have uh, a lot of different questions on it, and a lot of students are not aware there is a one skill retake that is being newly introduced. So, mostly we are going to talk about that. So before that, let me introduce myself. So I am Shreya Nandi, and I'm the lead trainer of iSchool Connect. And here at iSchool Connect, we mostly have students whom we sort of groom them, train them for different courses and different other categories. So you can always visit us and know more about us. So I think today, before we get on to having questions from your side with regards to IELTS One Skill Retake, you can ask me any questions on this. Be very clear at the end of the session. You should have a lot of details about what this IELTS One Skill Retake is all about. But before I get and take your questions, I would just want to talk about first. Uh, Maybe a lot of you may not be knowing what IELTS is all about. So I'll just talk about a little bit about how many skills are there in IELTS, and then I'll come to IELTS One Skill Retake. So mostly, IELTS is an English proficiency test, which is mostly taken by people across the globe. And majorly, there are several reasons why IELTS is taken up. So maybe they want to achieve their goals for their study purpose, or they want to go for work, they might want to migrate to a different country. And that is the reason IELTS is basically taken up by individuals. How many skills are there for IELTS? So we majorly have the English skills, which are reading, listening, writing, and speaking. So these are the four skills that you will ideally be sort of able to take up when you're taking the full length IELTS examination. You are supposed to take up all the four skills together. So, mostly in the IELTS, you have reading, listening, and writing on one day or probably together, and the speaking happens as a separate entity. Now, the whole test is near about 2 hours 45 minutes. So that is the duration of the whole test. Now, let's understand what happens. So you go for the test and you ideally get your results. And once your results come in, a lot of times you realize, oh, I have not got my desired score in one of the skills. So what do? I have to take off the whole test and go through the entire process. And I think that is not a very pleasing thing for a lot of you. So basically, this is an opportunity which is given, which is called as IELTS One Skill Retake, is where you can take only one part of the test and you do not have to take up the entire thing. So, previously, before it was launched, a student who wanted to improve the score in any one part would have to take up the entire test and had to pay up for the entire thing and practice for the entire thing to go and take the test. So that would be a big process for that student, and a lot of them wouldn't like it. So I have seen a lot of students just sort of saying, "Arey, nahi, I don't want to give it. Let me go ahead and take those universities who will accept this score." Okay, so they would not like to take up the entire test again. So let me take an example. So, for example, I have a student, and ideally after the test, she manages to probably get a 9 in reading, probably a 9 in your listening, and 8 in speaking. Brilliant scores. But when it came to writing, probably she ended up getting a 6.5, and probably her university wanted her to get 7 in all. So, in an ideal scenario, before the one skill retake was introduced, you had to take up either the entire test to get a 7 in all, or you probably have to go ahead and go to those universities which probably do not require a 7 band in all. So, ideally, to sort of give you and make you more confident to take up the test and to get your desired score, the IELTS one skill retake has been introduced very recently, a couple of months back, and it is not in all the countries yet that have been ideally started. It is only in certain countries like Australia, Malaysia, India, Philippines, where we ideally have the one skill retake right now. Of course, in other countries also, they are in the process and they'll be launching it very soon. Now, mostly there are certain eligibility criteria also. So when you're idly going ahead and taking up the IELTS one skill test, there are certain things that you will have to take care of. The first and foremost thing is you will you will have to take a full test and you should have received your scores. Then only you are eligible to take up this one skill test. Otherwise, you are not allowed to take up this test. You will have to, again, let me repeat myself, you will have to finish all the four sections. That means a full test you will have to take up, as well as you will have to receive your scores. So that means your scores come, then only you will be able to apply for IELTS one skill test. That is the first. The second one is you should have taken up the test on a computer. That is another criteria. So let me tell you that for people who are not aware, we have two modes of taking the IELTS examination. One is the pen and paper, the other is the computer test. So if you have taken the pen and paper test, you are not eligible to take up the IELTS one skill test. Okay, only if you have taken the test on a computer, you will be able to go ahead and take the IELTS one skill test and any one skill that you can test. Now, a lot of, okay, let me come to that later. So, the third one is, so I told you about two. The third one would be that another criteria would be that you will have to take this skill within 60 days of your original test date. Now, guys, note that it is not from the date you received your scores, but from the date you took up the original test. Okay, from there, you will have to take this within 60 days. So, these are the three criteria that are very important. And the fourth one is you, like a particular city might have several different centers where you go and take up the IELTS examination. So mostly you will have to choose that city, I mean, sorry, that center, which will give you the option of taking up this test. Okay. So ideally that I think when you're visiting the website, you'll have more knowledge about it. But mostly these are the four things that you'll have to keep in mind. Okay. Um, so do we have any questions? Okay. If you have any questions, you can just type on the chat box, which is there on the right hand side of your screen. Okay, let me just continue with it. So, ideally, another. So, for this IELTS one skill retake, uh, so these are the eligibility criteria that you mostly have, and there could be a very quick question as to probably who would want to, who would accept this IELTS one skill retake. So, there are on the website there are university lists. You can just go and check whether your university would be accepting the IELTS one skill retake or not. Also, additionally, the one skill retake, as the name suggests, it's going to be one skill. That means any one part that you will be able to take up. So, any one part that you ideally will be able to take up. So, if suppose I take another example where probably both your reading as well as writing, you are around 6.5 and you needed a 7, you cannot take up both the skills. Okay, for every full length IELTS examination, you are eligible to take only one skill. That's it. So either you take up the reading or the writing, and if you feel that no, I need to improve in both of the scores or both of the parts, then you will have to probably go ahead and book for the entire full length examination. So that is what you will have to do. Okay. So I think that is a little bit about the IELTS, how it proceeds and how it goes about. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is probably uh, how much does it cost? That is another question that usually comes up as to is there a cost criteria that has been mentioned? So, irrespective of whichever skill you take up, whether you take up the IELTS listening, or you take up the IELTS reading, or you take up the IELTS writing, in either case, you basically have to pay the same amount. Any one you can take, and the amount is ideally two-thirds of the total cost. So the total cost is of course 16,250. So you'll have to pay two-thirds of that. That means near about in Indian currency, it's going to be near about 10 to 11,000 rupees that you might have to pay for one particular skill that you want to test. Okay, so and basically that's the cost. And when will you receive your score? Since you are taking it up on a computer, so the computer delivered test, we receive scores within a week, so near about 3 to 5 days, 3 to 5 working days, that we receive our scores. So similarly, the IELTS one skill retake will also be given to you within 3 to 5 days. So within 3 to 5 days, you will basically probably get your results. And how are they incorporated in your final scores? So basically, when you have taken up the IELTS one skill retake for any particular one part, the the scores that you have received recently for the IELTS one skill retake is added on to your previous score, and you'll receive a new scorecard where the previous scores that you've received. So probably in reading where you got 9, listening you got 9, now probably writing you have got 7.5. That is added here instead of 6.5, and whatever you got in speaking out of 8, the whole new set of scorecard you will get, which will include the IELTS retake score as well as the scores that you have received for the original test. So that is how the scores are basically published. So you will get a fresh new scorecard, which with the IELTS retakes one skill score, which is there. Okay, and within 3 to 5 days, probably you will get all the results. And if you wish to, and your university accepts, you can go ahead and apply with the new fresh scorecard that you've received. Now, a lot of times you have the option of accepting the IELTS retake score. So you have your original scorecard. So if you wish to go ahead with your original scorecard and not use the scorecard that have come with the IELTS one skill retake scores, you can always go ahead and probably uh, just go and apply with the original one. You do not have to always apply with the IELTS retake one. You can always go and apply for the original ones as well. So whatever you have got originally in the previous time, whatever scores you have got, if you want that, no, whatever I've got right now with the IELTS one skill test and they are not so great, you can always go ahead and probably use the previous scorecard that you have got and apply with that. It's not a mandate that since you are taking up the IELTS one skill test, you will have to apply with that scorecard itself. You can also apply, you have an option of also applying with your original scorecard that you ideally have. Okay. Now, what is the so majorly there are questions that usually come up. Lavit states, what is the actual length or the time uh, that we require to basically take up this IELTS one skill test? It basically depends on the module or the part that you are taking up. So, as per the original test, the listening is for 30 minutes, reading is for 60 minutes, writing is for 60 minutes, speaking is in between 11 to 14 minutes. So, if you are taking only the reading section, your test is over by 60 minutes. If you are taking the writing section, your test is over by 60 minutes. If you're taking the listening section, then probably you're done by 30 minutes. So it depends on the skill, it depends on the part that you are testing, and accordingly, you will ideally get the scores. Yes, any questions? Okay. Now, okay. Now, another quick question would be, what is the format of the one skill test? There is no specific different format for the tests. It is as per the original test. So whatever format is there for your listening section, you'll have the same format. Whatever is there for reading, you'll have the same format, similar way for writing and speaking as well. So the timing and the format for the IELTS one skill retake is the same as the normal IELTS test that you take up. There is no major difference that you have, and ideally you will have to focus on only those aspects. That's all. So whatever is there for your different skills, you will have to just prepare only for that individual one skill that you are testing. Now, ideally, there is a lot of times students ask that, can I book for two IELTS one skill test? Absolutely no. Maximum of one skill that you can be taking up. You cannot take two. Then you will have to take up the complete test once again. Okay. So I think mostly I've covered up all the questions that IELTS one skill test covers up. So these are the major criteria that we have, and these are certain things that you will have to take care while you are doing the test, and it is absolutely online and on the computer. So whenever you are going for a retake, whenever you want to take up a test once again, a quick suggestion would be that you should ideally prepare well. Whether you are taking the entire IELTS together or you are taking only one skill, it is a mandate that you prepare yourself well. And even if you are taking the one skill test, we are always there to help you for your IELTS preparation. It's only one skill that you can take help with. You can take the help for the entire preparation, but be prepared before you go ahead and take up the test such that you get your desired score. So thank you very much. You can visit us at www.ischoolprep.com for more information or any doubts, any questions that you have. Also, just to let you know that on 17th and 18th of this month in Mumbai and Delhi, we are conducting uh, a session, and it's going to be ideally, there will be a lot of counselors there where you can interact, and it's ideally going to be an admission day where you can interact with counselors and know more about it. So there is a link in the comment section. You can just go ahead and probably click and register on that. Thank you very much for all of you who have joined, and I hope that this session gives you an insight of what this one skill module is all about. Thank you very much. Bye bye.